Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're a speech language therapy student and you've got placement coming up, you might be feeling excited, nervous, or a bit of both. I remember before my first placement thinking, how do I prepare? What should I be doing? What if I don't know enough? So today I wanted to share some of my biggest tips for making the most of your placement experience and some things I wish I'd known beforehand. So the first one is to read around everything you see. This is probably my biggest piece of advice. Placement isn't just about what happens during your placement hours, it's also about what you do afterwards. If you observe an assessment you've never heard of before, go home and read about it. If you meet a client with a condition you're unfamiliar with, read about it. If your supervisor mentions a therapy approach, spend some time researching it. Some of the best learning happens when you're curious enough to follow up on what you've been seen doing during the day. You'll find that concepts start making much more sense when you connect them to real clients and real experiences, and this is the best thing. My second piece of advice is to ask questions. I know it can feel intimidating asking questions, especially if you're worried about sounding inexperienced. But remember, you're a student. Your supervisor does not expect you to know everything. In fact, asking thoughtful questions shows that you're engaged and eager to learn. If you're unsure why a therapist chose a particular assessment, ask. If you're wondering why a therapy activity was adapted, ask. If you're interested in the clinical reasoning behind a decision, then definitely ask. Some of the most valuable learning comes from understanding why therapists do what they do. My third piece of advice is take every opportunity you can. If there's an opportunity to observe something new, then take it. If someone asks whether you'd like to lead part of a session, give it a go. If there's a chance to attend a meeting, shadow another therapist, or observe a different service, then say yes if you can. Placement experiences can vary, so making the most of every opportunity can really broaden your learning. You never know what area of speech and language therapy might spark your interest. And my fourth piece of advice is don't worry about being perfect. One thing I wish I'd realised sooner is that placement is a learning environment. You're not expected to perform like a qualified therapist. You're expected to learn, and you will make mistakes. You will have moments where you forget something or feel uncertain, and that's completely normal. The goal isn't perfection, it's progress. Focus on learning from feedback rather than trying to get everything right the first time. My fifth piece of advice is to keep notes throughout your placement. Something I found really helpful is keeping notes about what I've observed and learned, and this might include assessments you've seen, therapy techniques you've observed, new conditions you've learned about, clinical reasoning discussions, and questions you want to research later. It's amazing how much information you're exposed to on placement, and having notes gives you something to look back on later. My sixth piece of advice is to be proactive. Don't wait for learning opportunities to come to you. If there's a particular area you're interested in, tell your supervisor. If you've done some reading and want to discuss it, then bring it up. If you'd like more experience in a certain skill, ask whether there are opportunities to practice. The students who often get the most out of placement are the ones who actively seek learning opportunities. My seventh piece of advice is to remember that placement teaches you things that university can't. So your university lectures and classes give you the theory, but placements show you what real life practice looks like. You'll see how therapists adapt when things don't go according to plan. You'll learn how to build rapport with clients. You'll observe clinical decision making in action, and you'll start developing confidence that simply can't be gained from lectures alone. That's why placement is such an important part of becoming a speech and language therapist. My eighth piece of advice is to reflect regularly. At the end of each day or week, spend some time reflecting. Ask yourself, what did I learn today? What went well? What challenged me? What do I want to learn more about? Reflection helps turn experience into learning and helps you identify areas of growth. So those are my top tips for preparing for placement as a speech and language therapy student. Be curious, read around what you see, ask questions, take opportunities, and don't be afraid to learn as you go. Placement can feel daunting, but it's also one of the most rewarding parts of studying speech language therapy. If you've got placement coming up, let me know in the comments how you're feeling, and if you're an SLT student or qualified therapist, feel free to share your own placement tips below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.